What's good, y'all? Dab me up real quick. Imagine you got a coochie, or if you got one, continue this simulation like you still have a coochie. And you've had a terrible experience just dating men, which is very common in 2025. But you don't hate men enough to switch teams and start eating coochie. Something gotta change though, because if it continues going the way it is, you're finna turn asexual. Then, like a miracle sent from God himself, you hear about a new app called T. It's supposed to help women stay away from creepy or dangerous men. And you're thinking, finally, found a way to dodge the dudes who quote Andrew Tate on a daily and brag about never paying child support.
Part of me feels so bad, but ooh, not that bad. Situation got you mad.
So you sign up, upload your ID, fill out your info, and then boom, some random dude on 4chan has all your information. Your pictures, your DMs, your screenshots of saying Derek from Hinge is down low and is taking Schmeat up his butt. So yeah, let's talk about T. A story about how something meant to protect women became one of the fastest disasters in internet history.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family.
Before we get into this nonsense, make sure y'all smash that like and that subscribe button. Don't worry, over here it is consensual.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Now, for those who didn't get caught up in the hype, here's what the T app was supposed to be. T's whole pitch was women can review men that they've dated or interacted with in general. You can see if other women have flagged him as a green flag, sweet, respectful, walks old ladies down the street of New York, or a red flag where he has a hidden wife, he has a hidden husband, he's abusive, or he's low-key a criminal that takes advantage of women. All that can be reviewed and documented on this app. But the catch is that you have to be a verified woman making this account, and you have to go through a series of background checks to make sure that you are a woman. And then using images that women drop of men, you can reverse image search them, and then you could send private chats to other users within the app. So like basically this app in my eyes was trying to be the Yelp of dating for men. And obviously you can see how this ends up being a fucking train wreck. Because it's different when restaurants ask for reviews, because the restaurants are usually giving something very important. Consent. I mean, hell, to me, it would be better if this type of review system was on dating apps in general, like Hinge, Tinder, because we all know there are people that are on those apps that are not actually trying to get off. They're just trying to find new people to replace the hit, you know what I'm saying, or to run up their pockets and find the next victim. It would be nice if those people had reviews to be like, hey, I interacted with this person and yeah, she took me on $400, $500 dates and ghosted me after the date.
She says I ghosted her. Yeah, the date was over. The date was over, so I left. What do you expect me to do? Follow you home? Now I'm a stalker. Now I'm considered a stalker.
Or dudes saying, yeah, man, he ain't pull out. And he disappeared after he ain't pull out. Stuff like that might be helpful. But obviously, the chat's got to be in moderation. You just can't be saying whatever. I mean, just reviewing the dates. And if you start seeing a pattern of people saying the same thing about this person, that person can be stopped. And I think that would work better, because then the guys and girls who make their accounts, which are verified, would be essentially giving consent. They would have to be okay with them being reviewed if they want to continue making an account on the dating profiles. Because what's common sense isn't so common anymore, and people need to understand dating apps are meant to be deleted. They're not meant to be on your phone like Instagram. You feel me? But anyways, here's why that whole idea failed miserably on T app and immediately split the internet in half and inflamed the ongoing gender war. Supporters of T were like, finally a tool to protect women and share warnings about dangerous men. And critics were like, so it's an unmoderated gossip forum with legal names of dudes attached to the defamation, and they did not give consent.
I'm about to sue the fuck out the Tia. Dude, they posted me again, and I got 100 red flags with 0 green flags. Mind you, the first time they posted me, I had 37 red flags. I thought that was bad. 100 red flags? And when I told y'all about that, a lot of y'all in the comment section was telling me to sue the Tia.
A picture of him to be ridiculed on Twitter. But I think now, when the focal point is within your area, the men that you see are going to be within your area on T. So it's similar to that. It kind of goes in the sense of when people are posting other people on Reddit, right? You know, like creeps and there's Reddit forums. It's a legal blur line in my eyes. But T absolutely explodes, bro. Like TikTok influencers are making how to use T tutorials and scrolling through the app in their area. The app store charts, insane. T is climbing like it's NFTs back in 2021. You then see in response to men on TikTok reacting to them being on T and complaining about the reasons that they're being red flagged.
My nigga, how the fuck did I get on the T app? I used to work with him. He gave me gay vibes. Nigga, what? Nigga, I only worked one job with females, bro. And that was at Olive Garden when I was a server. And the reason why I didn't fuck with none of y'all is because y'all was already fucking all the niggas on the job.
From my perspective, I don't think that you should be posting men and talking mess about them for not being interested in seeing you anymore after they went and saw you at a date or even being stood up. To me, no answer is an answer. Like nowadays, it doesn't feel like you owe anybody a goodbye. I don't see why ghosting after a date is something that should warn somebody. It'll be different if he one night stood you and took advantage of you. You know, that needs to be made aware that this guy is known to like roofie women. But for a guy who just didn't want to tell you that he's not interested, he would much rather show you. I don't see why that needs to be red flagged 20 or 30 times. And then that's just like the tip of the iceberg. It gets real ridiculous when it goes to these forums, these red flag reviews. There's some where it's guys being red flagged because coworkers say they take dick on the down low. Or something of that manner that is like, okay, this is pretty ridiculous. This is not what the app was intended for. This is just gossip, high school gossip. In my head, when I first heard about T, I thought it was an Amber Alert for terrible men, dangerous men.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Hey man, putting that aside, within days, 4chan users decided they hate the T app, which I'm not surprised because that's where the underworld lives at, where scum is produced. So they just start poking around T's systems and T's coding with the intention to burn that hole to the ground. And they succeeded. The first major leak, 72,000 images pulled straight from the T system. And these aren't just random screenshots of chopped middle-aged women. 13,000 of these are like government ID scans with their names, locations. I mean, some of them have social security numbers, right?
Driver's license on the T app just got leaked. And that is extremely dangerous. I mean, thankfully for me, like my license address is not like actually where I physically live, but like this needs to be known and shared for everybody's safety because the T app is getting out and everybody is finding out about it.
The rest of the leak includes images from posts, DMs, comments between users about the man on forums, right? For example, if you posted, yeah, Brad gonna eat your coochie on the first night. Congrats, dummy. Brad's gonna know that you're the person behind the face that made that comment out. And listen, y'all should know this in my subscribers. Y'all know I love my wonderful women. I actually value women more than what they can do to my penis, which is hard to find in 2025. Y'all know I'm real. My real ones know I'm real. When those pictures leaked, all of y'all that made those comments look exactly how I thought y'all would look.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Chopped, middle-aged, butterface, bitter hoes. But putting that aside, T therefore eventually confirms the breach. Like, yeah, we got leaked. And it's like, yo, clearly we see the pictures everywhere on TikTok.
Well. Y'all ladies wanted the tea, and guess what happened? Y'all became the whole kettle. So the T app recently got hacked.
But by that point, like the files are already being passed around forums. So my perspective on that is that bad behavior elicits bad responses. Women on T were not using the app for what it was intended for. It went from protecting women from dangerous men to literally shopping for men in your area or telling people in your area, hey, if y'all want y'all coochie eat the first night, date this guy. He gonna eat it off the bone. What the fuck are we doing, ladies? What are we doing? Even women that were posting their husbands on the apps to see y'all gonna red flag or green flag my husband. Huh?
No, literally. Girl, who are you texting?
Darrell.
Ooh, I meant to ask you about that. How's that going?
Girl, it's going so well. He's actually such a good guy.
Stop.
I'm actually thinking about inviting him over next weekend.
I'm so happy for. Wait, you posted him to the T app, right?
No.
What?
Of course I trust him. He's a really good guy.
T Asia, you know you're not supposed to go on no date with no guy without fact checking. You losing your sense. You could be inviting somebody crazy to your home.
Whatever.
What are we doing? That's your husband. At the end of the day, I don't think you need to go on T to figure out if your husband is doing dirty. You should know by his actions. You should know. You posted your husbands and your boyfriends without consent. But you probably think the story stops there. Surprise, it doesn't. It gets worse because there was a second leak.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
This time, it was over 1 million private messages between users. The conversation where people spilled the real tea, personal stories, warnings about specific people, private convos, all dumped online. People were actually messaging each other to meet up. Now all those locations were leaked.
So every single girl's name, face, and address just got leaked on the T app.
Yes!
I mean, dude, thank God for this hacker, bro. Because this app was supposed to be to help women, and they were just abusing it and using it just to hate on men and try and make them look bad. Like, they were literally putting false essay allegations and abuse allegations on men just because they
didn't like them?
Or because bro, like, cheated on them or some shit.
So T's response to this? Let's get rid of in-app messaging, which is basically admitting like, yeah, your info got leaked and we can't protect your info moving forward. So
I know this might be a massive shock, but the app was hacked and all user information was leaked. There was all fat, ugly, middle-aged women.
So now chaos is everywhere, bro. Multiple class action lawsuits from users gets combined into one big federal case. Harassment and doxing campaigns start targeting women whose info got leaked. The men created an app in response that got shut down in less than 7 days. You want to know why? Because men were posting revenge porn of their exes and women in general. Screenshots and ID scans are reposted, mapped. You know where all these women live at. This isn't just embarrassing, it's actually dangerous. If you're trying to avoid a stalker or an abusive ex, congrats. Now they have your profile picture, your legal name, and they know exactly where you live at. So enter the new men's app that's still going right now and it's topping the charts. It's called T on Her. They removed the corn and they kind of been influenced by T, where they review women and ask if they're a green or red flag. And what does that entail for men? Basically, if they're ugly as shit or not.
What did the psychos do with all of the leaked pictures from the T app data breach? They created a game where you can vote on whose verification photo is hottest. We are so cooked, bro. Yep, you can pick which one's hotter, and they even have a ranking system with win-loss ratios and everything.
That's the whole purpose of the app. It's a ranking battle system. Like for college students, think Rate My Professor meets Incel and Reddit. It blows up in downloads, right? I think it was like, let me look at the number. It was 170 downloads the first week. And then, breaking news, shocking news, it leaks too. So not only did the girls' infos got exposed and they got the rating systems of how ugly or how uglier they look, all the guys' stuff got leaked too. They're in the same position as the women that they were doing this petty grudge against.
Hacker Man. He's the most powerful hacker of all time.
Think about this. The business model of T on Her is basically made by angry, petty men to get revenge on another business model that's going through hella lawsuits right now. Why would it work? You feel me? So let's really break this down in results. Why did this go from a women's support app to complete and utter disaster so fast? Record-breaking time. My opinion, it's safety versus defamation. The concept of warning women about dangerous men is solid. I think it's very needed, to be honest. There's a lot of dangerous men out here that do more mental abuse than physical abuse, right? But without strong moderation of the reviews and the comments, it just turns into high school gossip, group chat, Facebook private messaging group nonsense, right? It's not really helpful at all when you're not warning women about dangerous men and you're complaining about dates that you were excited for and men not being interested. Number 2, sensitive data, right? Collecting government IDs and selfies is already risky. So storing them insecurely is just going to be a recipe for disaster. And I think that people are getting numb to getting their stuff leaked, but that doesn't mean there isn't any legal consequences to your business. Third, tech, right? Tech culture. In the rush to launch, some startups kind of skip the security. The result of it is that you just become a case study of what not to do when you make their app, especially when it's off of a good intentions and good ideas. The last thing, which I feel like is very important, is that there's a cycle in all of this. People keep making these safety kind of men, women review apps, and hackers keep tearing them apart for fun. for the sport. You know what protects a lot of our government? Hackers, because they know how to break into it. So they hire hackers to prevent ways that they would break into it. You gotta understand who you're playing with security. What's the moral of all this, right? So listen, if you're gonna make a safety app, maybe, and this is just a wild thought to me, keep the safety at the top of the to-do list. Because right now, this T-app saga is still ongoing, and it's just like a bad group chat that leaked. And at the end of the day, the tea was spilled. All right, that was corny. Shout out to him though, it ain't me.